I have to tell you to take out your phones. Everybody knows the hashtag. And the only thing between you and me dancing up here together is you falling asleep. Okay? If you fall asleep, that'll get you up here. If you stay awake, it won't. And you're lucky because I was going to make you take pictures of your friend sitting next to you. And then I found out we were doing a groupie, so we decided that might be too many photos. All right, so yes, I'm from the US. Who knows me? Raise your hand, I can see some of it. Who has ever seen me before or followed me on Twitter? Oh, you poor souls. No. No, so my name is Pam Moore. I go by Pam Marketing Nut online. You may know that name. I'd like to tell you that I had a really great group of smart people who came up with that name, and we branded myself as that, but that's not how it happened at all. I was still working in corporate America, and it was 2009, and I heard about this thing called Twitter, and I thought, hey, I better get me a username. My name is Pam. I love marketing, and I'm a little nutty. So that's how the name Pam Marketing Nut was born. I spent 15 years working in corporate, and as you can see somewhere, I see the picture up here, that is my pride and joy. I have a husband and 2 children, 2 boys, 11 and 15. And I climbed the corporate ladder. We had what was the quote-unquote American dream, but we found we were 2 ships passing in the night. Has anybody ever been there? And I started to question, what am I doing? When I was taking my son, once I had my second son, and I was taking him to school as I was working at Sun Microsystems for 7.5 years, where I survived 13 layoffs, I was picking him up McDonald's on the way to school in the dark and picking him up Burger King on the way home so he would have something different. If you don't know what Burger King is, it's another fast food, fattening food, okay? Both were in the dark, and I thought, there's a problem here. My kids live on Egg McMuffins and French fries. And so, long story short, I got myself out of corporate, started our own agency, and it was one of those, whoa moments. The planets kind of just aligned, and me and the Twitter bird got along great, and I loved content. I loved helping people. I loved being outside of the corporate walls where I could actually help more businesses more than being inside. You know, I was no longer asked to create a viral video. And so a lot of what we're going to talk about today is all of how do these things come together and what is truly omni-channel marketing. And the first thing I need to ask you to do is to get into your app if you have it. And there is a dialogue option, and there's a question that we're going to poll everybody so we know where you are on the scale of understanding omni-channel marketing. And so if you could answer that question for me, I would really appreciate it as we go through this presentation. And it's basically on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being highest, what is your knowledge of omni-channel marketing? And then we'll come back to those results here in a little bit. And remember to be completely honest. And as we go through this, the only dumb question is the one that doesn't get asked. And my prompter up here isn't working, just as an FYI to my tech friends. Okay, so for today, we're going to be talking about what matters when it comes to omnichannel marketing. I hope to be able to put it in a little bit of a box for you. If you are even walking in this room and you don't understand at all what it is, my goal is that at the end of this presentation, you will get it. You will get it in a way that you will be able to go back to your office and know what you need to do and where you need to get started at minimum. I also hope to be able to help you to focus, so you can focus in the right areas. You're going to know where you need to start, and that all setting you up to achieve your business goals and success, whatever that may look like for you. Did you know that 90% of mobile users have their device within arm's reach 100% of the time? Okay, so I used to have a picture of a guy with a toilet, but I decided to clean it up, and he was sitting on the toilet with his mobile device. But 90% of people have their device within arm's reach 100% of the time. Okay, that's a big, big number. 98% of Americans switch between devices in the same day. Okay, that means they're using multiple devices. 87% of customers think that brands need to be better at providing a seamless experience. That means they're not happy with the experience that they're receiving. They think it needs to be more seamless. Who can vouch for this? Yeah, I think we all can. Okay, got TV? 68% of consumers have used YouTube to shop for retail products and services. Raise your hand if you have never done that. Okay, a couple people. That's okay. YouTube mobile reaches more 18 to 34 and 18 to 49-year-olds than any cable network in the US. Okay, so I put the picture of this couple here watching TV because just this last weekend on Sunday night, or Saturday night before I came here, me and my husband watched a long run of an inspirational story about CrossFit. Who knows about CrossFit? Okay, so I was watching this show called Killing the Fat Man. It was actually really good. But during watching it, like the 14 episodes, we had watched TV for, 4 hours and never turned on the TV, okay? We were only watching it YouTube. We were watching it through YouTube to our TV. So you think of how much advertising is changing. If you're wanting to reach my kids, if you're wanting to reach me, a lot of times I don't watch TV, right? Where are advertisers going to reach me? They need to figure that out, and they need to know who I am. They need to know that I'm watching YouTube. They need to know the times of day of when and where am I on what social network. Right? Who am I listening to? Who's helping me make decisions for my purchases? The power of the smartphone. 71% of in-store shoppers who use a smartphone say that helps them research information that is important to their in-store experience. How many of you have ever purchased a product and been inside of a store and used that smartphone to help you better navigate that store or even know what department it is, right? We want instant gratification. So how many people here buy things online and you want it yesterday, okay? Or you buy it and you'll pay more money because you can get it faster. Guilty as charged. We just started buying a lot more product on a site called Amazon. And I would consider myself actually a little bit of a late adopter when it comes to Amazon because my husband was on it, but I wasn't buying everything on Amazon. And I was one of those people that I wanted the experience to go to the mall, right? So I'm like, I need to go pick up some makeup. I'll go drop another $300-500 while I'm there. Well, I've learned over the last couple years that I can actually better experience life by saving time, right? By knowing that I can order these products online and that it's going to get to me a lot faster than me having to go drive 20-30 minutes to go to the mall and waste the time and not see the 3 people that you saw was most important in the ROI of my life, right? But that decision comes with a risk. So I know that sometimes that wrong product is going to come. So there are some purchase decisions that I don't do because of the risk. There are some that I will, and I'm willing to assume that risk. So brands need to make sure that they are earning trust and that they are consistent in delivering value, that they are consistent in delivering me the right product, that they are consistent in delivering us a consistent and value proposition that they know that they can deliver on, right? That they're not promising something that they can't deliver. I recently just ordered a mattress on Amazon. Anybody else in the room, have you ever done that? Am I the only one in here? Okay, mattresses in the US run $3,000. Okay, guess how much I got it for on Amazon? $400. Okay, my hairstylist had ordered it, and she said, you've got to try it. So what did I have to lose? It was one of those risk things, okay? I can waste $400, but I could save $2,600 if it works out. Well, we've had it for 2 months, and the mattress is amazing so far. We don't have any bugs crawling out of it or anything. But it's that risk reward and that instant gratification that we want so bad. You have 10 seconds to keep them. Okay, my husband that you saw earlier, he loves to fish. My son loves to fish. And my son is now doing professional sports fishing association for teens. And you know the fish stories that I hear? Okay, yes, they have a lot of pictures, but all the big fish got away, right? Well, where's the picture? It was 25 pounds, I promise. Well, where's the picture? Okay, same thing goes for our website, for our digital platforms. If your biggest potential customer comes to your website or your blog, you have a maximum of about 10 seconds to earn their trust. okay, for them to want to stick around. It doesn't matter the ones that you lose, okay? When it comes to online marketing and digital marketing, the ones that get away don't matter. They matter, but you've lost them. Like, if you lose them in that 10 seconds, it's over. Okay, do not force your customer to scale up. How many times have you been on your mobile device and you see the little thing, you're having a terrible experience, okay? You're thinking, geez, I can't read anything. You're like trying to expand. Who's been there, okay? And you see the little words at the bottom of the screen, and what does it say? View full site, okay? That's number one sign that things are not going well. Then what happens when you click on the view full site? It's not a full site, is it? It's usually something very questionable. So if I'm on a mobile device, if you're on a mobile device, if your customer is on a mobile device, don't make them scale up to the desktop. Don't make them scale up and have to call, right? We recently just redecorated our master bedroom. And I tell you, it was so hard to find bedding. You know, if any of you are thinking of opening up a business, I highly suggest you think about this, because all of the products are now being sold through the manufacturer, so you can't even get that instant gratification from Amazon. You can't get the instant gratification from any of the big box type of retailers that sell those types of products. It's all a minimum of about 7 days. I had to call customer service for one of the big stores in America, Bed Bath & Beyond, which I love. I was doing everything we're talking about here. I was looking at the mobile phone in the car with my husband. I was not driving. And I was looking for that perfect bedding set, and I wanted it now, okay? The guy on the phone promised me, well, I was checking if it was in the store, and it wasn't, promised me it would be there in 2 business days. It wasn't. It got there in 7 business days. So I could have bought it from Amazon for cheaper and still had it in 7 days. So where do you think I'm going to go next time when I want bedding if Amazon has it? Right? I'm going to go to Amazon. So it goes back to that value proposition and keeping the promise and earning the trust, right? If the guy had told me it was going to be 7 days, that probably would have been okay. The details really matter. And compare these 2 statistics, okay? 73% of people are likely to visit a local retailer if they have product availability online. Okay, compare that with 36% who will visit a store if no inventory information is available. So we want to know, even before we go to the store, if the information, if the content, if the product is available. Is somebody there going to be able to help me also matters. People that are inside a brand matter. 69% of consumers expect store associates to be able to help them and to look up things with a mobile device, whatever they may have. Okay, how many of you have had an experience in a retail store where somebody has been able to help you with a mobile device? Right? I know in the US, some of our big box stores, they try to do that. We have a cosmetic store, Sephora, that is pretty good about that. And if their lines are busy at checkout, they will help people check out faster. So now, Robin, we are ready for the data. Okay, so here's the data of how people understand omnichannel marketing in this audience. So if you were not a 5, you now know you don't need to feel bad. Everybody else is with you. It's one of those words, it's kind of like teenagers and sex. Everybody's talking about it, but nobody's doing it, right? And I think omnichannel marketing is very much the same. And having a 15-year-old son, I'm glad they're not all doing it, by the way. But it's interesting to see this, because everywhere I have presented this presentation, I will either do a hand raising or something similar, and the numbers tend to fall in here, right? So it really shows you where we are as a community at a global level. So what is omni-channel marketing really? So let's take a look at where we've been. I'll back up. So we started with traditional. We went to e-commerce, multi-channel, and omni-channel marketing, okay? Traditional is basically the customer goes to the store. The direct mail days, we would go into a store, we would buy a product, we would come home. Okay, e-commerce, customers shop online via a website. Who remembers when online stores were first launched, right? I remember I worked at GE Capital, and they made my title e-commerce director, and I thought that was so cool. And I really didn't even know what e-commerce was. They're like, you can be the e-commerce, the CTO said, you can be the e-commerce director. I'm like, awesome. And I still have that card to prove it. We later figured out we were actually doing some e-commerce. We were teaching people the web before it existed. We were working with loan processors and insurance leaders from different companies and taking them from a DOS system to the internet. That was interesting. Some people actually thought the mouse, I think, was a foot pedal. And those were the days, right? I worked at Sun Microsystems where we put the dot in .com before the whole thing crashed. And so then we moved on to multi-channel marketing. So then we said, okay, people aren't just buying from one thing, they're buying from multi-channels. So we're gonna hit them up. Marketing budgets grew substantially, and we're gonna hit them up on every single way that we can. And what happened? We wound up with a very disjointed marketing programs, very disjointed goals and objectives, very disjointed platforms, okay? My favorite word in business, my favorite 2 words in business, and why I survived 13 layoffs at one company was integration and ROI, okay? Things need to be integrated. And that's why I'm so excited about businesses understanding what is omnichannel marketing, because omnichannel marketing is about customers using multiple channels, but they're engaging anywhere at any time when they want to do it. And that's not new, right? Us as marketers, we've been saying the right time, the right place for decades. But omnichannel marketing is about a seamless experience. Okay, if you remember one thing today, that's it. If it's not a seamless experience, it's not omnichannel marketing. So if you have a lot of different channels that you're utilizing for your marketing programs, that's multi-channel marketing. It's not omni-channel unless you're integrating those together and you are thinking about the customer experience. And here's the good and the bad of it, okay? We are absolutely the media. And I have done tons of podcasts. I have a podcast you can check out. It has over 100, almost 70 episodes. It's called Social Zoom Factor. I talk about this all the time. I just finished a series on You Are the Media. Okay, every single person sitting in this room has an opportunity to absolutely be the media. You can beat out big media today. You can get out there and build your platform. I have huge platforms that come to me, big media, wanting me to share their content, wanting them to be able to get their content onto my blog. Okay, I am one single person. And we are able to get more media coverage than some of these Fortune 10 brands are doing. So you don't need to have a huge budget to do that. However, the problem is, because we are the media, because we have so much opportunity to do this, we wind up yelling at each other. How many of you have ever woke up? How many of you are Twitter users? Raise your hand. Okay. How many of you have ever woke up to a stream of Twitter in the morning and find that, this thing is making a lot of noise, and find that it's filled with people just begging you to share their stuff, to tweet about them, to download their app, right? I wake up every single morning to spam. So if you are in a digital marketing, a business leadership role, so many people are just yelling at each other. We're sitting there with megaphones saying, check me out, check me out, check me out, because we know that we're the media. And we have to really start thinking about how instead we can add value. How can we connect with our audience? How can we earn trust? How can we help our customer solve their problem? How can we help our community solve their problem? And remember, if the channels are not working together, it's not omni-channel marketing. Okay, so if your Twitter support is not really providing support, it's not omni-channel. It's not a channel that's helping me solve my problems, right? And we used HostGator for our hosting, and they're one of our website and data hosting. They are one of the first companies that I ever saw really give amazing customer service via Twitter. I can send one tweet, and my website never has a problem on a Monday morning at 8 a.m., right? It's always like Saturday night. I'm at the bowling alley on vacation in Colorado, and the site goes down, literally, okay? All I have to do is send a tweet, and guess what they do? They send me an email back, here's what needs to be fixed, and all I have to do is reply and they fix it. I do not ever have to log a ticket. I don't have to get anybody on it to fix it. Even if it's something within our website, they fix it for us, right? That is a multi-channel, omni-channel type of experience that is solving a problem. They will communicate with me however I want to communicate with them, no matter where I am, no matter what time of day it is, 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year, they will do that. And as Brian Solis says, I love this quote, the traditional funnel no longer works on connected customers. It's far too dynamic, and the evolution is spinning the ellipse faster than your business is able to adapt its vision, mission, and models. All right, that's huge. We are searching for all the answers in all the wrong places. 76% of marketers think they know what customers want, but 34% have ever asked them. So to provide an omni-channel experience, the first thing you need to do is make sure that you understand your customer. How many of you would say you truly understand your customer? I'm glad you're honest. That's good. Or did you want me to ask again? Did you just not raise your hand? It's about the people. And I've been saying this from day one, since I got online when the social media ecosystem started coming together. You know, I truly believe the heartbeat of social is people. It's you and it's me. And it's not just about buying things. People don't just buy things, they join things. It's about building something bigger and better and more awesome that's going to help more people that we can do together that we could never do by ourselves, right? How can you build community with your online community, with your audience, with your customers, with your partners in a way that gives them something that they can only get from being part of that community? Those are the things you should be thinking of when it comes to omni-channel marketing, right? And most business leaders lack the element of connecting with humans. We're really good at the tactics, right? We're really good at random acts of marketing. We're really good at making lists, and every time you go into the marketing meeting every week, there's a new campaign assigned. How many have lived those days? I did, right? And then you remember the marketing campaign that got assigned to you last week and the week before that was never funded, was never resourced, right? That becomes random acts of marketing. And instead of just being able to focus and think about the DNA of our customer, think about the DNA of our market, the DNA of our brand, and stop worrying so much about tools. Okay, we don't want to start with technology. And when I speak and we train, we do a lot of workshops, I will always ask, what do you think of when you think of the word social media? And so many people will raise their hands and say Facebook, or they'll say Twitter. Okay, everybody starts with technology. Every customer that comes to our agency for help, 90% of them will say, I need you to help me put a Twitter strategy together, or I need you to help me put a Facebook strategy together, or we need to fix our blog, we need to do ABC. The first thing we say is, who is your audience? Well, I don't know. Anybody between the age of 18 and 55 is not an answer, okay? Even if everybody can buy from you, that doesn't mean that you are ready to go serve them a good experience online. So we use the POST methodology. If you've never heard of it, I encourage you to check it out. There's a book by Forrester Research called Groundswell. And it basically takes this and it turns it upside down. And it helps you with a framework for how to build a social media digital strategy. And it focuses on the audience first, so the people, the objectives, the strategy, and the technology. And with the people we're looking at, what are the objectives for that audience? What does that person want to achieve in their life and in their business? What do they need from me, and how can I help them? And then the strategy becomes, how do you want that relationship with that audience member to change? Okay, so do you want it to be more transactional? Do you want it to be more intimate? Do you want to just have that audience know that you exist? You may be in a phase of startup and they may not know that you exist. Or we work with a lot of enterprise corporations too that have been around for decades, and they have an online and a brand awareness issue, maybe with a younger generation, right? The company has grown, and they have a lot of subject matter experts internally that need to be able to get out there and connect with this younger generation, right? And we do a lot of teaming up an older, more senior person with a more younger, maybe a millennial, and teaming them up, putting them on a Google Hangout together. Figure out how can we team up that knowledge and expertise and that seniority with somebody who's comfortable with the technology. It's amazing what happens when you do that. When you start to bring people that maybe have differences in traditional demographics, but you're bringing them together over some common content that will serve and help your audience. Amazing things happen. And then last, you figure out the technology, right? So last, we figure out what's the right channel. So if you've tried to put together what maybe was an omni-channel experience or a multi-channel experience or even just a website and it's not working, this is where I would start. Right, and we have a worksheet you can download. I'll tweet it out later, but understand your audience and keep it simple. Know what their top 3 goals are. Personalized experiences are everything. So knowing who your customer is and why they are using the multiple screens, right? Why am I using a mobile phone on a Saturday morning? Why am I using a desktop on a Monday morning? Right? Reaching a C-level executive on a Friday night on LinkedIn may or may not work for your audience. You know, I know for our audience, we communicate and are targeting C-level executives down to like director level who are decision makers, and they are online on Friday night. They're online Saturday morning, right? And I look back at the data when I first started our company, and there were some data scientists out there who told us never post blog content on a Saturday morning. Well, I know my audience. My clients start texting me on Friday night because that's when they are able to work on more of the idea generation and the innovation because they're heads down in their company all week. So they read my content, they listen to our podcast on Saturday morning. Had I listened to what the quote unquote gurus told me to do, I would have never had content that went viral when I was first starting at Saturday that put us on the map, right? So you have to know your audience and be careful of who you're listening to because sometimes the people that are speaking the loudest really don't know what they're talking about, and it may be working for their audience, but unless you know, you need to vet that with your audience. You know, I'm a huge gut feeling person. I like to go with my gut, but I'm also a huge data person, right? And I will vet every big decision and little decisions we make with both the gut and the data. But know who your customer is. If you're targeting a stay-at-home mom, right, Friday night, Sunday night, those are great times to reach them. Moms in general, what are we talking about on Sunday night on Facebook? Laundry, right? A messy house, what we're cooking for dinner. So if a company's trying to target me on Facebook on a Sunday night, those are probably good things to talk about. Give me some ads that tell me how to better organize my laundry room, and I'll probably buy it if you put it in front of me on a Sunday, okay? That's why I had to move my laundry days to Wednesday, because it was a problem. But those are the kind of things. So when I'm saying get in the head of your customer, know what I'm thinking about on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That C-level executive we talked about, on Monday morning, give them data that helps them be better at business, that helps them be a better leader, right? It's not necessarily talking about what they're going to do on Friday night. So design the customer journey in a way that provides that personal experience and that helps you increase conversions, build relationships, and provide the absolute best experience that you possibly can for your audience. And to do that, you want to make sure that you are understanding where they are in the adoption of technology. Because although you may be coming up to speed on some of these technologies, your executives may not. Your team members may be below you that you need to get on board and help you implement it, may not. There's a bug flying around up here. How many of you have seen this model, the Jeffrey Moore technology adoption lifecycle? All right, this is really important. If you look at the far left, we have tech enthusiasts, okay? So these are people who have the latest device, the latest iPhone when it's launched, the latest, Android of everything. They're testing beta of everything. They want to be first, okay? I will be ordering the new iPhone when I get back to my home next week, I think. I'm right there for an upgrade. But the true tech enthusiasts, they're in line, right? They're in line at the Apple store. They don't care if they have the upgrade or not. They're going to pay it if they can. When we move to the visionaries, they're not quite as crazy about it, but they're still there. They want to be leading. They want to be the first that's writing the blog post on it, the ones to show their friends that this is the cool new phone or whatever the device may be. Then as we move over to the right, okay, we have the skeptics. So the skeptics may be the people in your organization that really don't like change, right? They don't want their BlackBerry is working just fine. I have a good friend who has a BlackBerry? Just raise your hand. I don't know who you are. Okay, nope, not very many. Okay, maybe a few. I'm not judging you, okay, if you have a BlackBerry. I have a really good friend who has a multi-million-dollar business that she started from scratch, and she still uses the BlackBerry. And she takes so many photos and all these things, but she does not want to change. To her, all her contacts are in there. I mean, we would literally have to like crush her BlackBerry, but then she probably would just go order another one if she could. I don't even know if you can. But the skeptics, we are not going to want to go to them internally in our organization and say, hey, Mr. CEO skeptic, we want to implement this brand new technology that is so cool. We are going to be the first people in our market to use it. What do you think that skeptic's going to do? Freak out. He's going to say, no, sorry, I don't have time for this. We have no budget. Get out of my office, right? Who's been there? Okay. What you want to do is find the people who are your visionaries. Find the people maybe once the technology is a little bit proven who's a pragmatist. And you want to bring them along with you. When you go to the conservative or the skeptic, you better have a case study of somebody in your industry that is already doing that. You better know your competition and why they are getting ready to kill you if you don't do that, okay? That's the kind of story you want to take to the conservative and to the skeptic. And we've worked with so many companies who I have seen marketing teams just get slaughtered because they're dealing with this wrong. What happens many times in marketing, in the marketing leadership and executive relationships, it's really a matter of a common language, right? Everybody has the same goals. Everybody wants the business to succeed, but it's finding that foundation for which you can build a platform and a roadmap for how you're going to get to where you want to get. This is another model that we use in building communities, okay? And the C-level executive, the C-suite, the boardroom, what do they care about? They care about this right side. The day you launch your social program and they've approved the budget, what do they want? Show me the money, honey. They want to see the ROI. So your responsibility, if you are a C-level executive, if you are a digital marketer, is to make sure that you understand and that everybody in your organization understands it is about building community, and it is about building relationships, and it is about building and earning trust and establishing thought leadership that's going to get you here to the right side. You have an opportunity to harvest that relationship into something that's going to bring a positive ROI, but it's not going to happen just because you launch your Facebook page, obviously. It's not going to happen because you put a ton of money into ads. That's not going to necessarily build you community unless you have a conversion funnel that's helping you do that. Unless you have content that's helping you nurture those relationships. Content that's helping your customer solve their simple day-to-day problems. Helping inspire them. Okay? So no matter what platform you're working on, you need to be focused on bringing people together. I have our Get Real Chat community up here as an example. We launched our Get Real Chat Twitter chat 4.5 years ago. Okay? Our first agency was acquired within 2 years. During all the change of investors and all of that, I knew the one thing that was constant in our business was community, right? And regardless of what brand we had on top of us, who were our investors, whatever we were doing, our community would always be there. When you build a community, it doesn't matter if Facebook goes away. It doesn't matter if the next thing is Periscope or Meerkat or Blab or wherever we're all going. They'll go wherever you go. That's the power of community. Our Get Real Chat that started out as just a way to serve our audience for free is how we have landed deals with brands that are Fortune 10 brands, because they've come to us and said, hey, how much does it cost for me to get on Get Real Chat? And back in the day, we were like, I don't know. Let me get back to you on that. and we put a price tag on it, and we've been able to fully monetize it. So you will be able to monetize even things that you don't think you can monetize right now if you are focused on building the platform that adds value at every step of the way. Become an experience architect. So in everything you do, provide that experience, okay? Create those shareable experiences that people want to just shout from the mountaintop, right? Where you just have, whether it's a great customer experience, you have something that is unique. Right? You think of this event here, it's an amazing experience for everybody, isn't it? Like the relationships that you're making and the content that you're hearing and just the whole venue. You can tell that the Webbdagarna team, hopefully I said that right, put effort into experience. They care about you as a human. They care about you as a person. They care about building community, right? That's why they have these successful events all around the country, okay? Couple examples here. Disney, who's ever been to Disney? All right, it's one of the best companies at creating experiences, right? I don't know where you can go get a better experience for a child than at Disney. From the minute you walk in the door. I can remember the first time I took my little guy there, it was like I was in tears almost the whole day. And I'm an emotional person. I get touched pretty easily with cool things. But it was very experiential, right? Now they have bands that you can wear, and they will track you wherever you are they have the beacons that will track you wherever you are in the park, but you can use the app, and then they help you get to rides that don't have a very long line. They help plan your whole day while you're in there, all real time, interactive, so you can optimize the time that you're there, and obviously so you can spend more money, right? Because the more time that you're not standing in line for a ride, what are you doing? You're so hot, if you're in Florida, where I live, that you're probably buying drinks and popsicles and all those things, right? So the ROI works very well for them. They're giving a great experience. They're also increasing their bottom line. Homebase is another company that I encourage you to check out as far as omnichannel marketing. They have realized that not only are they able to help people build their projects, whatever it may be a remodel in a home, it may be you wanting to build a whole new house, maybe build a tiny house, but they have also realized that they provide inspiration. So they use Pinterest online just for inspiration, for dreaming, but the piece of it that I heard about their story and the way they're doing omnichannel marketing that I like the most, they're thinking of channels including your house. So let's say that you do a bathroom remodel and you only have one bathroom, okay? What happens to that bathroom when it's being remodeled? You're out of luck. So they provide and they purchase gym memberships for their customers, and that enables them to be able to get away and kill off some of the stress, but also to take a shower, which everybody in the family is going to appreciate. Okay, so they buy you a gym membership. What great value is that, right? Talk about end-to-end experience, all the way from when you're dreaming about how you want to remodel your house, all the way to actually doing it, and then being able to take a shower while you're doing it. Okay, to me, I think that's pretty remarkable. So as you're going about this journey, remember that it's a journey. It's not a destination. There's not a day you're going to be able to put on your calendar and say, October of next year, I am going to have an omni-channel social business, right? This stuff is moving so fast, just as you partly figure it out, what's going to happen? It's all going to change. The only guarantee we have is change. And so we can't let change freak us out. We need to find the areas where we can provide the most value to our customers, find the channel. Maybe it's one channel. Maybe it's integrating something like email marketing. Okay, if you're not, who here is using email marketing? Yes or no? Naughty, naughty, you should. We grew our email list from 12,000 to 50,000, over 50,000 since February of 2014. Okay, I can tell you every time I send an email to our list, the leads pour in. If you are not using some simple channels for your audience, it could be email marketing, it could be another channel, it could be fixing your website, it could be making sure your site is mobile responsive. Pick one thing, pick two things. Omnichannel does not mean that you are everywhere at all times. It means you are providing the best experience where your customer is interacting with you. And the end goal is that we're providing that best experience where they want to talk to us and win at the right time and the right place. But as you're starting, if you're just starting this journey, you're not going to get there overnight, right? You're not going to get there in 90 days and be able to provide every channel a seamless experience. So that's why you have to focus and you have to prioritize and just do the best you can. Right? Know that you need to start somewhere and then take that customer on that journey with you. Share your journey as you're launching your Pinterest, as you're launching your Facebook, as you're launching Blab, whatever you're using, live streaming to communicate with your customer. Take them on the journey. Say, this is our first Google Hangout we've ever done, right? We did a lot of work with Emerson, which is a manufacturing company that's global, and they were very slow to adopt technology, right? They started doing Google Hangouts, and it was amazing. They did Twitter chats, and they started with not even having anybody internally who wanted to blog and contribute to the corporate blog. Within 6 months, we had lists of people wanting to be part of that platform, right, that we built from scratch. So you can get there in a short time, but you need to set realistic expectations. So that's what I have for you today. I want to thank you so much for your time and for having me here. Sweden is just lovely, and I've loved everything about it. The people seem so very nice, and so I look forward to hopefully talking to some of you. I think we have time for questions, or?
At least one question.
Okay. Do we have any questions?
Thank you. I have a question,
yes.
Luckily. So it feels like, or actually we know that the fundamentals of omnichannel marketing is data and knowing what your customers want and when and where.
Yes.
How do you manage that and create this perfect omnichannel experience without being perceived as creepy, like too much? You mentioned that Disney are using these bracelets to track people everywhere and then sort of suggest where you should go and what you should do. So how do you do that without being creepy?
So that is a really good question, right? So when it comes, you want me to take this toward in-store first or digital online too?
Yeah, digital online.
So digital online, I think you do have to be careful, right? And I know not too long ago, I got a spam email from a company that actually provided tracking, and they sent it to Pam at pammarketingnut.com. And anyone that sends an email to that address, I know they don't really have my real email address. And so they sent it there, and then they sent me, and I said I wasn't interested. And then they sent me a couple follow-ups, and they said, I saw you visited our site, and you clicked on boom, boom, boom. Okay? What did that make me want to do? It did not make me want to engage with that customer, right? Because I felt that they violated my privacy. I told them that I didn't want to talk to them. So I think there's a way to use it. I think, my partner in business, he worked at WebTrends and several different companies. That's what they did, was the data tracking. And that data is gold. That data is gold to marketers, right? And it's happening on many, many sites we're visiting today. I don't think we can get away from that.
Right.
But I think now if you take it to the in-store model, okay, there's two ways to look at it. There's and we work with a client who actually builds this type of technology, the beacons and everything. And two ways to look at it. For the customer, there's a segment that is scared to death of it. They do not want to be followed around the store. And I think that there should be the ability to obviously make sure that that's not happening. But then from a user experience perspective, if you're open to sharing your data, I know at some of the big department stores I shop at, I'd like to have somebody tell me where to go, right? Because I can't find a retail associate to help me. And I was at a big clothing, huge department store a couple weeks ago. Nobody is around to even answer the simple question of where is this department? So how cool would it be if I could go into my app and say, get me to this department, and it says, go 50 feet this way, take a right. So I think if you go back to the customer experience and you're providing value to that audience member that wants the value, then that's where the sweet spot's going to be. I think pushing it and only selling it as monitoring is never going to work.
All right.
That's my opinion.
Thank you. Thank you, Pam.
Thank you. Are we done?
All right,
Thank you so much.